Hello guys. So, I have an author recommendation for you. The author of these two very big books. It's not who you think it is. It's not Tolstoy. It's not Dostoevsky. This is a completely underrated author in my opinion. Even though I think she's hitting all the check marks of what's trending in literature genres right now. She has a little fantasy, sci-fi, magical realism. She has a little motivation, philosophy, psychology, self-help. She has a bit of feminism. She has a bit of romance. A lot of things that people like at the moment. She wrote these books in the 1930s and 1940s. Even though she's a pioneer of these genres, I think it's really sad that nobody wants to talk about her. No one wants to acknowledge her work. I think that's for a few reasons. For example, how intimidating the girth of these books are, and also the misogyny, the patriarchy that literature stemmed from. She's obviously overshadowed by other big bookish boys like Tolstoy and Dostoevsky, as I already said, and it's a real shame. So I'm going to be introducing her to you today. Her name is Ayn Rand. These are her two magnum opuses. Opie? I wouldn't say that these are explicitly related in terms of story, but they do occur in the same world, just at very different time periods. So this one establishes the world that she's made, and this one extends on those ideas. A lot of really thorough, intricate world building that's going on. What is the world that she's created? Well, I'm sure you guys are very familiar with the story of the Wizard of Oz. And if you remember, in the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy makes a friend along the way who is a scarecrow. And that scarecrow wishes for a brain. What Ayn Rand does is an extrapolation of that into the real world, where these scarecrow with no brains, I guess you could call them straw men, are real people. And these straw men are populating in our real world and have gotten into positions of power due to their sheer number. These scarecrow, these straw men that want a brain, end up wanting to destroy people, these gifted individuals with brains. Not in a zombie-like scenario where they're actually eating brains, but they just want to reduce the power of these gifted individuals with brains by manipulating the rest of the public. So that's where the magical realism, the fantasy, the sci-fi, the dystopia comes in to her works. This is set in America as an extrapolation of the Wizard of Oz and Dorothy. What I really enjoy about this book is how Ayn Rand illustrates America in such a motivational way. And it's super ingrained in the main characters too, and how New York and the city is ingrained in them, and they're ingrained in the city in return. These gifted individuals are pushing towards advancement for their own city and for their own good of humanity, and yet people want to push that down. Now these straw men without brains obviously don't have any logic to work with. They are working on pure emotion, intense emotion, because that's all they can really feel. And that can go against what is good for humanity, even though they think it will save humanity. That will mix in with motivations, negative motivations for greed and power. This is an allegory of our real life. This is a social commentary of very big, influential people in power. And that really ties in as to who we want to govern such a big population. What ideals do they have and want to share? Do we want someone without a brain, driven on pure emotion without logic? This emotion so explosive that it mixes in with the good and the bad? Or do we want someone that can power and motivate gifted individuals to try harder and to shift and expand upon that greatness to others? Anyway, that aside, there's a lot of feminism in this book. Two different but great female main protagonists. And considering that Ayn Rand wrote this like in the 1940s, I think that's such a grand thing to applaud. You didn't see anybody writing about women in the workplace, let alone in a higher position in the workplace. This was the first of that happening. You think about other female classic authors like Charlotte Bronte, Jane Austen, Virginia Woolf. You didn't get that same girl bossness in their books. It's always about marrying a man, as it is. But this one isn't about that. There is romance in this book, but the main female lead is a really large part in the story as well. And her position in the world of business that is dominated by men. So really grand stuff. Yes, still romance. I would rate the spice level of this book like a 50. There's a very large scene in here that really ramps up the spice level. This one is more like an 80 to 90. Considering how big this book is, that's a considerate score. Ayn Rand has these very specific kinks, if you're into it. She loves like consensual, non-consensual stuff. She loves spiritual consensual stuff, I guess. She also has this very specific kink where the main male protagonist, who's meant to be the most gifted, most intelligent individual in the world, also likes to get nitty and gritty into his own practical works. She loves doing the dirty. When the main protagonist is doing the dirty in the damn field, she loves that blue collarness to them, when in reality they are the most intellectual individual alive. She really likes that stuff. Anyway, that's all I had to say about these books. If you enjoyed this video, if you'd like more recommendations, let me know. Give it a like, etc. I'll see you the next time I read anything. I haven't really been doing that this year. Thanks, guys.